everyone, this is June because I was born in June. Welcome to the Amazing Entrepreneur Show today. So today we have Vince Warnock with us today. So how is it, Vince, for you right now?
It is awesome. I am so happy to be here, Joan. I love your little video, so I'm so happy to be a part of it.
Which city you're from?
I'm in New Zealand, so I'm in Wellington, New Zealand. So it's actually quite a nice fine day today, which is quite unusual at the moment because it's been miserable here. But no, we're very happy today. Sun is shining. It couldn't get better.
That's really awesome. I really love your energy, and it's our pleasure to invite you here today to actually interview so that we can get a lot more insights for all the audience out there to know. There are a lot of them, they are just starting out to build their online business. That's why your insights will be very much valuable. But before we dive in, I would like to introduce you guys, like where is Vince from, and then who he is. So Vince Warnock is an award-winning business and marketing strategist, coach, podcasting host, and author of Chasing the Insights. So he's an ex-radio announcer with over 20 years in marketing, and Vince has founded multiple companies, including the Chasing the Insights Academy, where he empowers entrepreneurs and business owners to grow their business they have always dreamed of. Oh my God, this is really awesome. So Vince, can you tell me like how you get started and then to do what you're doing right now?
Yeah, I'll take you on a little bit of a journey.
Sure.
So originally, this is a weird journey, but originally I trained as an electronics, computer and software engineer. I wanted to be that guy that made all the gadgets for James Bond or for Batman, but it turned out that's not a viable career option. And I got really bored with it really quickly. I realized technology is my passion, but more than that is a passion for people and understanding why people do the things that they do. And as I kind of progressed in my career, as you said, I ended up working on radio, absolutely loved it. It was one of my favorite jobs. They pay really poorly, by the way, even though I was at one of the top radio stations here as an announcer. So I had to give that up to do my own endeavors. And that's when I found that the kind of convergence of technology and people's behavior is really in digital marketing. It's really in looking at why people do the things that they do. So I kind of accidentally fell into that. I started doing web design and web development. And next thing you know, I'm a marketer and winning awards. And I'm going, damn, I haven't even studied in this. Like, I don't have a marketing degree. I just know people. So that kind of progressed. I worked in digital marketing, particularly for a number of years until I got the bug to start another venture. So I've always been, ever since I was 11 years old, I've always been an entrepreneur. My first company was at 11. Don't judge me for this, but it was video games. So I had no role models in my life. I had no one that could tell me that that's actually a bad thing to do and that it was unethical and it was illegal. I had no idea. All I knew is I could make a lot of money off it. So that was
you
my
have
first
the idea, right? You have the entrepreneurship spirit inside you. I think that's matter, like since you're young.
Exactly. Yeah. And every entrepreneur knows that. Once you have that entrepreneurial kind of bug, it's really hard to go back to corporate life. And I've done this a number of times. I've gone into corporate and startups and had my own startup called Common Ledger for a number of years until we sold that. So that was a huge win for us. It grew really, really quickly. It was a tech startup. And then got back into the corporate life through Cigna, so insurance. I was the chief marketing officer there until this year, which is when I got the bug again. I needed to keep writing. I published my first book, shameless plug, first book last year called Chasing the Insights. Yeah, thank you. That was a crazy journey, but it's one of the most enjoyable things. I thoroughly enjoyed the process of kind of writing down and structuring your thoughts and teaching people and empowering people. It's just been awesome. So this year I made the call, you know what? Yes, I'm paid an obscene amount of money to do my job, but I'm leaving all of that behind. I'm going to write my next book. And in doing that, I'm now, oh my goodness, I'm now writing 2 books at the same time because I want to be really efficient. So I'm writing 2 books at the moment. I've launched the podcast. So I've got the Chasing the Insights podcast. We've got the virtual summit coming up at the end of September. So working on that, plus launching some courses and doing coaching. And just having a blast. Like, honestly, I'm loving life at the moment.
Oh my God, seriously, you have been doing fantastically, like so many tasks at the same time, so many different projects. So what are the top secrets that you have for us? Like, how can you able to juggle so many things at one time? Any top secrets?
Yep. Okay. First top secret. I'm going to look, you can't see this, but I'm looking at my wall behind the computer here because up there is my kind of mantras that I have every morning, the things that I look up to. And one of them, the first one is simple. It's just start. Okay. And honestly, and most of you will know this, most entrepreneurs know this, you get up in the morning, you're not going to feel it every single day. There are going to be days where, and there are days where I get up and I go, what the hell am I doing? Like, who do I think I am? No one's going to want to read my books. No one's going to want to listen to my podcast. No one's going to, oh, poor me, poor me. And I don't feel like turning up. I don't feel like talking to anyone. I don't believe in myself. So therefore, why would anyone believe in me? But then I see that and it's just start. And I'm like, you know what? It's just, I'll pick one of, I have Post-it notes all over my monitor, and they're my to-do list. So I just pick one of those and I go, yeah, I'm just going to start. And that process of actually just doing something, the process of starting, makes you almost turn up. And it really does, it creates an energy there. It creates a whole mentality of, I'm just going to keep going and keep going. I do it with writing as well. There are times I don't feel like writing, and I'll just start to put pen to paper, and I'll write a word, or I'll type a word, and then it's a sentence, and then it's a paragraph. Next thing you know, I've written a chapter of a book. So just start is my number one tip. Like, honestly, even when you're not feeling it, guys, just see if you can just start and see what happens from that.
So the other trick your mind to start with something, and then after that you will start like 30 minutes, 1 hour, and then the time just pass, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then you've realized that you haven't slept, which brings me to the other one. So I've got to be very, very cautious. I'm a workaholic, as in I'm very passionate about what I do, and I can get lost in that. So you talked about balance there. You talked about how do you get all this stuff done. It's about making sure that you're held to account on that. So I'm very aware that this is a blind spot for me. It's something that I'm not that great at. So I make sure I have people around me who can do this. So I have my wife, Leanne. In fact, she did it in the weekend where I hurt my knee quite badly at the gym. And I'm like,
oh my God.
No, I can't go to the gym and I'm really, really sore. And she was like, yep, you've been sore for a few days. And I was like, yeah. And she goes, is that because of fatigue? And it made me stop. And she asked me a hard question. She always does. It made me stop and go, hang on a minute. I may be actually really tired. I've been pushing to get the summit stuff ready. Okay. So I thought I'm going to go down and have a little snooze, have a little nap. I have a weird genetic disorder, by the way. So I have a mutated gene, which means I only sleep 4 hours a night, which is super handy to get lots done. But it means that I've struggled to sleep. So I thought I'm just going to lie down for a few minutes, see if I can have a little doze. 6 hours later, I wake up. Now that's the equivalent of a normal person sleeping 12 hours. So that was crazy. So you've got to kind of make sure you keep yourself in check. Leanne calls me on it and I listen to her. I've got an accountability coach. So somebody who holds me to account to help me make sure I keep on the right track with what I'm doing, but also to make sure I'm actually taking time for me and taking time for my family. So that's really important. Oh man, I've got so many tips, June. This is crazy. We're going for hours here now.
you didn't realize that you have so many tips to share until someone asks you the question, right?
I know.
That's really so. The important tip is that we always must have a balance, and if let's say we can't really discipline ourselves, we always want to have someone like it become our accountability partner, and also just take one bit at a time, but always be clear of what we want to achieve. That's a really, really very great tip from you, Vince.
Yeah,
like, can you tell, because you have been through so many different kind of business, whether from business, startups, your own business, as well as in the corporate job, which one you like the most?
Oh, that's tough. Damn. Look, it's not around which type of job I like the most, but I know what I'm passionate about. So that's helping people. And this is what made the decision to leave Cigna really easy. Don't get me wrong, a wonderful place. I love those guys to bits. Love the leadership there. They're awesome. We were doing some really cool stuff, but I realized I wasn't impacting as many people as I normally would if I had my own venture or my own thing. And that became a tension point for me. As a chief marketing officer, you are very busy. And we had a small team that we had to keep growing. And I'm like, oh my goodness, so we don't have enough people. We've got too much work to do. It's insane. So at that point, it was like, I'm not writing, which is something I'm very passionate about. So I had stopped writing my next book because I didn't have time for it, which meant that's a way I impact people, and that's been taken away. And I don't really have time to mentor or coach anyone. And so I guess the answer to that is, it depends on what I'm doing in that type of role. But if I'm directly impacting people, then that's my happy place. That's what I love doing. I love seeing other people succeed. It is just a thrill to be able to enable someone and to believe in them and to get them to believe in themselves. I think that is one of the most rewarding things.
Yeah, I kind of resonate with you on that, because I also feel the same thing when I see someone whom we guided, right? From not believing themselves to they are actually succeeding. The first case, maybe they close the first case, first client, they have the mentality set up. It is really an awesome feeling. So then back to you, like, so many different stuff in like such a short period of time. Was it very difficult for decision for you when you decided to leave your corporate or to leave your radio announcer job back then?
Yeah, definitely. That was something that I really loved. And it goes all the way back to when I was a child. So I grew up in a not very nice environment. So I grew up in an abusive environment. I don't go into the full details, but it was just not nice, right? No child should ever have to go through that. My wife went through similar in her background and things as well. And where I grew up, a lot of us went through that. So I had my escapism, and my escapisms were comics, technology. So I used to collect comics. I love comic books, superheroes. I still do. I'm super passionate about it. You can't see it because they're all on the sides here, but I have superhero and Star Wars.
Oh, okay. That's good. So it's DC or the Avengers?
Marvel, always Marvel. I'm a DC fan as well, but I'm a Marvel fanboy at heart.
Okay.
So, yeah. But so that was one of my happy places. But the other thing was, ever since I was very young, I used to make electronic circuitry. And when I was 7, I designed and built a crystal radio set. And I would tune into the radio and listen to the announcers on there. And I thought, these guys have the coolest job. Like, they sound so happy. They're all talking with each other. I want this. I want a piece of that. So that had been my passion since I was a little kid. And then I finally got the opportunity, and they actually had a competition to get on radio here. So they were looking for a new announcer, and apparently I won hands down. I was about 3 times the next person down from me. So I was like, oh, wow. Listen. So I became I was their weekend guy, and then I started filling in for the morning crew and the evenings and things like that as well. So it was so much fun, but the pay was really, really bad. And that actually was a problem. We were having another child at the time. We've got 2 kids, and we really needed some form of security and independence. And I'm like, this is not going to work. So I had to make the call that I was making more money doing freelance web work than I was working on radio. So I left there. But now the beauty is radio's kind of, I hate saying this, but radio's kind of dying, as in radio itself as a medium. Yeah, it's more nationalized now and all this kind of stuff. So podcast is the new radio. So I have discovered another happy place, which is getting to interview cool people like you, June, on my podcast is just so much fun. It's like being back on radio again.
So when one door closes, another door always open, right? So
and usually 2 or 3 doors open. You get to choose which one to go through.
I totally agree with you. So what would be the key advice that you give to someone who are maybe they are trying to make a decision in their life?
Yep.
So what kind of, maybe they just are making a decision, they want to start a new business. So what kind of advice that you give to this group of friends?
Yeah, I've got 2 things that I stand by for myself. One of those is you need your own coach. And I did this year, even though, look, I'm super experienced in marketing and business as well. I've created and sold startups. I've worked in marketing. I've been recognized as one of the top 50 marketers in the world, which I still can't quite get my head around, But so this should be all second nature to me. But I knew that if I'm going out there and I'm going, I want to coach other people. I want them to invest their time, their money, and I'll invest my time to help them to grow. If I'm going to ask them to do that, I need to be doing that myself. So I sought out a coach. Now, this is a very important process because not every coach is suitable for every person. And the first lot of people I looked at, there was a misalignment there where they were great people, super talented people, but they were very salesy or very aggressive on that side of things. And I'm like, that doesn't feel aligned with me. I'm a very empathetic person. I'm about empowering and encouraging. And I want my clients to feel that way as well. So I stumbled across my coach. Somebody invited me to a beta course that she was doing. And I'm like, okay, I'll check that out. Took me about 5 minutes. I'm like, there's something here. So I jumped on a call with her, and next thing you know, I'm like, just take my money. Just seriously, just whatever. I don't care how much it costs. I need the input, and not so much from a teaching perspective, although there is an element of that, because I obviously have gaps in my knowledge like everybody does. So she helps to fill those gaps. But at the same time, just having, like when you're having a bad day, being able to jump on a Zoom or jump on a call or Messenger or whatever and just say, hey, and having a conversation with them, it always puts things in perspective, and it'll get you through some really hard times. And there will be very hard times when you're an entrepreneur. That's normality, okay? The other kind of big piece of advice, and the thing that I stand by, is you're never going to know everything, and that's a-okay. It's absolutely fine. You're going to go into this and go, I have no idea what I'm doing half the time. That's also fine, because believe it or not, most of us have no idea what we're doing. We're all making this up as we go along. I had no idea how to do a podcast, and suddenly I've got a podcast that's ranking really well. I'm like, I don't know how that happened, but sure, let's run with it. I'm setting up a virtual summit, which I've never done that before. So I'm like, you know what? I don't know what I'm doing, but I'll survive. If I make a mistake, people are very forgiving. So just be honest with yourself. Recognize that you're going to feel like an imposter a lot of the time. You're going to feel like a complete fraud, and you're going to have self-doubt. That is normal. And you need to recognize that all of us, if we're all feeling that, you've got just as much right to be at that table as the rest of us. And you've got just as much right to succeed as all we do. So hold on to that. Don't let that go. Success is inevitable. If you keep turning up and you keep doing the stuff day after day after day, you will eventually succeed, which is awesome. So
that is true. Fantastic tips. Like, I really love the second one, right? Because a lot of time, right? We along the way will feel like, oh my God, am I good? Like, am I an imposter? Am I a fraud? Like, seriously? Can I teach?
All the time.
Yes, right? So this is one thing about entrepreneurs, is that we always have this self-doubt, but then it's okay. Your message is really come just in time, because it's okay that we have a self-doubt, but then we do it anyway.
Yes, 100%.
I think that is so important. I think our audience is going to love this show so much that, okay, I want to ask you, like, if let's say our audience want to reach out to you, is there, you have any summits, upcoming summits, or how should they reach out to you?
Best place to reach out to me is go to chasingtheinsights.com. So chasingtheinsights.com.
Oh, okay.
Wear the swag. Yeah.
That's smart.
chasingtheinsights.com. Yeah.
I'm going to print a t-shirt.
Yeah. If you go to the website, you'll see there's a couple of key things on there. You will see the podcast, obviously. So I highly encourage you. I've had the awesome opportunity to interview some incredible people, including a certain person that I'm talking to right now. Your episode's coming up. But so there's some wisdom in there. If you want to learn from the best, then it's a great way to do it. But also there's a menu item there called Summit. In fact, the tickets have just gone live. So make sure you jump in there. It's a free virtual summit. It's called the Ultimate Marketing Strategy Summit. So it's talking to a range of super talented people around the world. And we literally have people from all over the world, from China, the Ukraine, Spain, USA, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, Malaysia, Singapore, all over the UK, everywhere, who are going to give all this wisdom to you around different areas of marketing, so that you can kind of custom build your own marketing strategy, which I think is really cool. And it's a gap that I've seen with a lot of different entrepreneurs. So it should inform you with enough information there to be able to create that strategy. So get in there and grab your tickets. It is free. It's coming up on the 23rd to 25th of September. So make sure you get in there fast, because we only have limited spaces. Yeah.
Oh my God. So anyone who is watching this episode out there, remember to get your tickets, as well as go to chasingtheinsight.com, follow Vince's podcast. It's really amazing. We are going to put the links down below. Of course, should they reach out to you in Facebook or anything, if let's say they have any questions?
You'll see all the links on chasingtheinsights.com as well, but I've got a Facebook group you can join also, and that's a good way to get in touch with me as well. But I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, although I'm not very good on Instagram, so please forgive me on there. Okay, I get hassled for how cheesy I am on there. So I'm getting better at it. But my main thing is LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. That's the main channels that I use. I use those all the time, particularly Facebook and LinkedIn.
Sure. So anyone out there, we are going to put the links down below. And thank you so much, Vince, for joining us today with so much of awesome knowledge to share. Thanks for joining in.
Absolute pleasure, June. Thank you so much.
Okay, take care. Bye.
Thanks.